Last time you saw part 1 of episode 103. This week we are starting right where we left off, going over to Kingsbury Country Day School for their country fair. Then we're going to head over to OES for their Microsoft coding class, so stay tuned.
You know, I didn't cover a lot of things involving the Pollyann Trail.
Yeah.
However, one of the things I remember covering was they had this program this one summer where this organization brought goats in to eat the weeds.
Wow. I think they may have done that this year, actually.
Well, I hope it worked for them. I was hoping that it would be a successful program and it would go on. It sounded like a neat idea at the time.
It is, certainly, especially because it just helps everyone else clean up the Pollyann Trail and keep it looking as nice as it does. It really is a nice place and well kept up. And speaking of those organizations, the Women's Club, who just donated a little bit of money, or not a little bit, but substantial, especially for these students, to, I want to say, 12 different students at Oetjens for their college fund. And it's not necessarily you have to go to a university or a four-year college, but it's also for trade school, so that's pretty cool. They were able to do their event or their organization out there this past week. So that was really nice to see, and it was a pretty good turnout.
Hey, The Pollyann Trail is an important feature of Oxford, Michigan.
Very much so, especially during times like this where it's nice outside and you want to get outdoors. You have a nice place to do it.
That's right.
All right. Moving into the next story for this segment, we're going to head over to Kingsbury Country Day School for their country fair. Take a look. All right, so I am here with Miss Bristol. Miss Bristol, this is a very big tradition of yours, or of the schools. Can you tell us what it's all about?
We love this day. This is the country fair. This is our 63rd one, so something our community looks forward to every year. It's always the first Sunday in June. Oh, we have so much going on throughout the whole day. There's food, there's music, there's inflatables, a climbing wall, there's a dunk tank, and the teachers go in the dunk tank. It's one of the favorites for the kids. We have old-fashioned games here like Pioneer Times. There's just so much. Auctions, pie eating contests, so much.
And I was looking on Facebook a little bit for this event today, and I saw that some or most of the proceeds go towards the students' education. So explain how that works for us.
This is one of our biggest fundraisers. And so we count on this as one of the big programs that can supplement our curriculum, whether it's buying, new things for our library or expanding supplemental science kits for experiments or whatever it may be. This fundraiser, we call it a fun raiser because F-U-N, it is so fun, but we do raise a lot of funds for our school.
And then I obviously have to go over to the petting zoo part of it. I saw a bunch of baby chicks, which was a story from our recent visit here at Kingsbury. Are those all animals from the Kingsbury farm, or did you branch out to get those animals?
Those are from the community. So that vendor, they love to bring them here so the kids are exposed to even more, variety of animals. And some years there's even cows or sheep or ram or just all different things anything for the kids to enjoy.
And then this tent standing here behind us, the strawberry shortcake tent, you said is a significant part of this fair. What else is really significant for the fair, a tradition, so to speak?
The strawberry shortcake is a big tradition. It's typically always run by the teachers, and so the families look forward to just a huge bowl of ice cream and strawberries and whipped cream every year. The auction is a really important tradition as well. Really just the entire event. And, every year we have a tremendous amount of volunteers that put this together. Without the support of our community and different parents running different sections of the fair, it couldn't be as grand as it is. And it's grown and morphed over time. And, new volunteers bringing new ideas, but a lot of the same structure and what you can experience here for a day of family fun has stayed the same for 63 years. It is open to everyone. So the majority of the folks you see here today are going to be associated Kingsbury, but it's the grandparents that are here, it's cousins, it's even just the neighbors.
It's an annual event. You can come out next year and years after that. Now, specifically for the auction portion of it, what all is being auctioned here today?
Oh, there's something for everyone. So we have a silent auction section. You know, those can be things like themed baskets, maybe like a movie basket or a summer fun basket. And then it's all the way things up, you know, a little tailored to our community here. Families will bid for their child to be principal for the day or a teacher for a day, or they get to run the gym and decide what gym classes do that week. So we do kind of things that are really geared towards the kids. But if you're an outside community member, then there's lots of other things too, even just like boating experiences or sometimes cabins, you know, will get auctioned off for rental and things like that.
Okay. Now, is this pretty much the same things that get auctioned off every single year, or can next year people look forward to different things or maybe even the same thing?
There are some that are pretty traditional, like being principal for a day is one that comes every year, but really it's the power of our volunteers.
Most fun part about this carnival fair today?
The animals.
Animals? What kind of animals are here?
Rabbits, goats, and chickens, and ducks.
Okay. And you clearly go to Kingsbury Country Day School, right? So you guys have your very own farm. What kind of animals do you have in your farm?
Goats and chickens.
So it's a few different animals that you get to experience here that you don't typically experience on a daily basis?
Yeah.
So is this your first fair, or how many times have you been to Kingsbury Country Day Fair?
2.
And is it always the same?
Yeah, but not really.
Okay. So tell us what's typically different or something that is the same.
The same is they always have the animals.
Okay, so I'm here with some more students of Kingsbury Country Day School, and we're going to hear exactly what the most fun part about being here is.
So you get to be with your friends and see more people.
Is this your first fair, you two, or is this your...
I'm new here.
Okay.
I've been here for 3 years. So yeah, I go here every pretty much year I can.
And is it always the same? Is it sometimes different?
No, it's usually different. Like last year, the bounce house used to be somewhere else, but now it's like this square or something.
Now, this being your very first fair here, what do you think about it?
It's awesome. It's because there's more stuff to do instead of staying at home.
Now, have you guys checked out the entire fair yet and all the activities that you guys get to do? Not yet?
No, not exactly yet, but we will. We'll get to it.
So what are you looking forward to? Is it something that you're really looking forward to today? Minus the bug in your eye?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to?
To meet new friends and do cool stuff.
Any activities? All right, so we are here with some alumni here, alumni parent and a future student. How does it feel to be back at Kingsbury?
Oh, it's excellent. I love to see all of my old, classmates and whatnot. It's a great school.
So that's a lot of Kingsbury alumni here.
Oh, there's a lot of people here today. Yeah, it's a beautiful day for the fair.
Now, would you say once a Kingsbury student or member, so to speak, always?
Oh, absolutely. I don't miss this for anything. This is a great people and a great time, close to home. So it's fun times.
And obviously you like the education that you received here because now your daughter is going here.
Yeah, she's going to possibly go in the fall.
And what do you think about the fair so far?
Good.
What's your favorite part? I saw you shooting some little sharks over there. Is that your favorite part?
Yeah.
What else have you done today?
Good.
She did the bounce house, too.
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Yeah.
She's going to get a slushie now. That's the next thing.
Oh,
can't
what flavor
wait.
slushie are you thinking
Trying to
about?
get blue?
Pop.
Oh, she likes Coke.
Oh, Coke. Coke's my favorite too. Is it anything, do you remember having a Kingsbury Country Day Fair when you were a student?
Yes, I do. It was much smaller, and the school was much smaller 25 years ago, but it still got a good feel like it did back then.
Now, what about the games and different activities? Was it the same or has it expanded a little bit?
The games and the activities are much bigger, and it's a greater venue now, but it's still got that great fair feel, in school.
We are lucky enough to have Oxford Community Television here. They just announced the pilot contest, and they're
See you later!
That was an annual event that Kingsbury Country Day School does every single year to raise proceeds and funds for their students and their education and different things that they do throughout the year. So that was really cool to go and be a part of it. They had animals there, bouncy houses, and different vendors, most of them residents from Oxford or a little bit outside of Oxford, like Rochester.
I didn't realize that was such a growing organization.
Oh yeah, Kingsbury, again, it was 6 years ago they switched from being a private school to becoming a charter school. And what a lot of people still don't realize is that a charter school you don't pay for, so your students can go there free of charge and get, an excellent education as they can, at our Oxford schools. But it's not a part of the Oxford School District. It is on Hosner Road, so it's incorporated a little bit into the activities that we have here. Like, for instance, the Battle of the Books, it was their first year being involved in that and, being able to participate.
Really?
Yeah, it was really fun. And I like how they're including everyone. And now Kingsbury is also branching out. They're inviting the entire community, Oxford, Leonard, Addison, to come out to their country fairs. And again, this is an annual thing. So next year, if you didn't go this year, be sure to, figure out when the dates are, when the times are, and show up and support your neighborhood, because they are, in our neighborhood. They're not a part of us necessarily, but, we're all one. So that was really cool. Now, going into our very last segment for this episode of Schooling Around, we are going to head over to OES for their Microsoft coding class. Take a look. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Schooling Around. Today's episode brought us to Oxford Elementary School for their Microsoft coding class put on by one of the parents. As you can see, they're all behind me right now paying attention to the professionals here. We're going to turn it over to them and see what all they have in store for us today.
So everyone, I'm Mrs. Myers, and it's been a great honor for me to be able to teach you language and coding for the last few weeks.
How did you come about getting the Microsoft people out here to the school today?
Well, I really need to thank Mrs. Myers, who's one of our guest teachers. She's taken on a new class that we're offering where our kids are spending half of the time working on Chinese or Spanish and the other half working on coding. She was so excited about the job on her own. She went down to the Microsoft store and completely on her own brought us this great assembly opportunity.
And how did you go about actually getting them to come here? Was it all on her own doing, or?
This was completely Mrs. Myers. I wish that I could take some credit for it, but we really can't. And Microsoft Store offers this as a free service to our kids, so it didn't cost us anything. But we also have a code club here at our school that has about 70 members. They meet every other Friday, and that's been really popular for the last 4 or 5 years. And so when we learned about this opportunity through the Microsoft Store, it seemed with a great fit. And coding is also just such an important skill for our kids that we just jumped at the opportunity.
And then once he began, he was like, is anyone here familiar with coding? And all of these 5th graders, I believe, right?
4th graders.
4th graders, even better, already had some coding background, and that is all due to your clubbing class, or?
So many of our 4th graders, this would be their 2nd year that they've been in the code club already. So they've done the 24 hours of code that the Gates Foundation has put together. A lot of them make it through the first 10 lessons or so of that project. So this is just a great extension of that.
And how often does the club meet or the class meet? Is it something that's offered after school or during the school day?
The students meet every other Friday. The class is actually offered every Friday, but because there's so many kids, we don't have enough computers for them to come every week. And so the teacher is there every Friday, the kids are there every other Friday.
And what teachers or teacher is really the instructor of this class?
Mrs. Hay, one of our 5th grade teachers, completely runs the club. It's been her brainchild from the beginning, and it's been fantastic and really popular.
And obviously the students learn the foundation of the coding class. How much further do they go in this?
Well, the great part is they're offering extensions at the middle school, just starting now. We've had a PLTW curriculum, which is like an engineering, design, and modeling curriculum for quite a few years. But now starting in 8th grade, we're going to be offering a computer programming class. And as those 8th graders get hooked, there's plans right now to extend that into the high school.
Well, great. Thanks for talking to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you.
Myers, the principal actually told us that this was all your own doing, your own idea. How did you first get the idea to come and bring the Microsoft Office to OES?
When they needed a foreign language teacher, they decided to also include 2 days of computer science because as technology is getting very critical, yeah, in today's age, they want to try to incorporate it in schools. So I decided to go to the Microsoft store so that I could get myself educated on what this coding is, Black Coding, Code.org, and a couple other websites that we can use for coding. So I had such a good time. My son had such a good time. And then when we found out that he was willing to come to our school and have this event for everyone, it was a lot easier for them to come than for us to take your whole class there. So I decided, why not? It's an opportunity that these kids might not ever get to do again. So hopefully it sparks their interest into either a career in computer science or over the summer when they're bored and they have nothing to do, they can code.
And that's something that they were mentioning as well. Microsoft Office in Troy, because this is the one that's visiting us, they offer all sorts of classes. What are some of those classes?
Well, for students over the summer, they're having, for kids that like to play Rocket League, they're having like a 4-day Rocket League gaming workshop. They're having a workshop on how kids can start their own business from all the different steps. There's a Minecraft one. So those are the 3 that are going on this year. Ongoing, they have plenty of things that even for girls, certain workshops that's geared just for girls, coding workshops, so that girls get interested in it. I guess the philosophy of this whole thing is that you're learning to accept that if you don't get something right the first time and you fail, try again. So that's basically what they're trying to teach with coding. You fail, try again until you get it right. You need help, ask for help until you get it, until you're successful. Because in life, you're going to fail, and then you're going to learn from it and be successful.
Okay, Blake, so your mom is the one who got the Microsoft people out here. How does that feel to have a mom so cool?
I think it's really cool.
And she was the Battle of the Books leader, too, for you guys, so she's really involved in school and what you do. What else does she do for you?
She motivates me in school and also puts other fun stuff on like this.
So what do you think about the Microsoft and coding?
I really like coding, and I think it's really cool that other kids get to try it.
What's your favorite part about coding?
That you get to make whatever you want.
So tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing here today. So obviously you're making characters, and other characters are eating them. So how does that go? What did you make?
I made let me remember.
Okay. I don't know, I heard some ice cream, some chicks, a bunch of different animals there.
I don't remember.
Okay, no problem. So now what's the idea of today's activity?
Today's idea is where it starts off as eat the donut, the game, and then they modify it so they could make their own characters, eat other things like ice cream, and I think it's really cool that they get to code their own thing and not everybody codes the same thing.
Now, do you think it's hard or easy for you guys to code?
It's not too hard.
Okay. And what's the easiest or the hardest part about it?
Probably the hardest part about it is finding the blocks.
Where can you find the block?
There's in the toolbox.
Okay, Aiden, so we just spoke to one of your classmates who said that coding is pretty easy. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's easy?
I think it's easy because when you use the code, you get to see your mistakes easily and then go back and fix them easily.
Now, that's the easiest part. What do you think is the hardest part about coding?
I think the hardest part is all the functions and loops. I think those are the hardest to understand, but I like the basics.
Now, what are you guys doing here today? Would you consider this activity as basic or kind of hard?
Very basic.
Very basic. So what's something that's considered hard in coding?
I think a considerably hard thing is maybe a loop that you put a loop inside and then put a function inside that and then another loop, and then it just keeps going on until you can figure it out.
Okay, so give us an example of that because I don't know much about coding, so you kind of lost me there.
So I remember this one lesson we did where you had to put a repeat 5 times, which means if you put a move forward inside, the character would move forward 5 times. And I put a repeat 5 times, and in the middle I put a wild path ahead, which means wild path ahead, you do whatever you have to. And then inside that, I did one of the functions I created, which was go forward 5 times, move left, and eat the plant. And I think it took me a day or 2 to figure out that because it was a puzzle, and puzzles are usually harder than the rest.
Well, that sounds very complicated. I don't know if I would be able to do that. When did you first learn how to do all of this technical stuff?
I began doing this technical stuff when I was in 1st grade. I lived in Kentucky at that point, and this school, they got us into this coding that we do now, and it just stopped right there, and then it didn't happen until now in 4th grade, and it's just gotten easier and easier.
How is it from a girl's perspective? What do you think?
I think it's pretty fun, and I like how you get to design all of your own things instead of it just being like girl or boy things. It's way easier and more fun.
Okay. So what kind of things do you design?
Well, for this, we're designing like our own characters, and I designed a bunny, and I also did a carrot.
Okay, so you could basically make the character eat whatever it wants to, right? So your bunny could have eaten a computer if it wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what other things can you do in coding?
You can program the character to move over and avoid for the Minecraft one, you would avoid falling into lava or something.
How many things have you done in coding so far?
I'm on level 20 so far. I think I'm pretty far into it. There's only 15 more levels. So
you're pretty good at it. You know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay. So what's the easiest and the hardest part about coding?
The easiest part is probably that you get to make whatever you want and make it do whatever you want. And the hardest part sometimes is finding your mistake.
So I keep hearing this finding your mistake part, so that can't be easy. How do you go about finding your mistake when you make one?
Sometimes you can go up and ask for help, or you could look at the code and watch the code as it does it. And when it stops or says this isn't right, keep coding, then you'll know, oh, I need to move this block here instead.
That was a class brought in by Martha Myers. She's actually a parent teacher, and basically what happened was she went to the Microsoft store and was taking classes for herself, so she knew what criteria that she needed to know to teach the students this. And she found out that Microsoft in Troy actually comes to schools, and instead of taking the students, all of the students, to Troy, they brought the Microsoft people to the class, to the school.
They're actually doing that here in Oxford now.
Yes, and they can travel anywhere. And actually another cool thing over the summer, because today is the last day of school for the students, they can go over the summer. I'm not sure about the cost or if it will cost anything, but they can take coding classes and different video game building classes over the summer. And it's a workshop. It's about 10 to 15 students. It's all ages, even adults can do it, which is a nice benefit. If you're interested in coding, you can do that.
You know, I think they started coding in the schools at that age group maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Really?
It could have been even longer ago than that. I know this one teacher, I think her name was Mrs. Hay.
Yes, I believe she's still there.
She was in charge of that and put a lot of her free time into that after school with these kids. And what grade are we talking about?
We're talking about 4th graders.
I mean,
so
can
very
you imagine
young.
that? I don't know how old you guys are, but I never had a coding class. I didn't even have a coding class in college. But
and do you know how to do it now?
No.
Me either. So they're way more advanced than we are.
I let my grandkids do it.
Absolutely. Actually, and speaking of some of those kids, it was really nice. I came to work the next day and I saw a bunch of cards that they had handmade me. Some of them incorporated the coding things that they were working on that day. So I'm going to show you guys some of those right now. So the first one is actually A big white card, as you guys can see here. The unicorn is something that one of the students were making. They went in and did all of the colors, and they made the unicorns eat different things like ice creams and French fries, whatever you can imagine. The inside of it is really cute because they have more coding pictures that says, oh, I'm going to show
We're going to hold it up.
Yeah, we do.
Well, all right. This is really neat.
This is really cool. I was so happy. Now, it says Miss Alexis, which I had never been called before, by the way. It's me, or Miss Alexis is me awesome, and you have the picture of the cat there. That was really cute. And then a puppy, which are my favorite animals. Keep hitting the mic, but these are my favorite animals. I had I think this says Puptacular time coding with you, which is just another example of how creative these kids really are.
Wow, I never got anything like this.
You know what? This is my first time, so
Yeah.
Thank you, OES students. We're going to show you a few more, about 3 more cards. This next one, it says Miss Alexis, and it's from Caitlin Reagan, I believe that says, and Elena, the Smile Club. The inside is, thank you, Miss Alexis, for putting our special event on TV. Because of you, people everywhere knows how fun OES is. Thank you, Reagan. And OES is certainly fun. It's actually very fun. I haven't heard of this in any of the schools I've ever been in, including my own. So thank you guys for this one. The next one is for OCTV. The inside of it says, oh, and it's a little, I don't know what these are called. You're going to help me out here. But it says, Dear Alexis from OCTV, thanks for coming to Oxford Elementary. We all just love to be on TV, don't we? Smiley face. Also, thanks for interviewing some students. They definitely like that. All of the OES students and Microsoft. Thank you, Microsoft. Thank you very much, Sarah. And I love this little drawing here. I definitely would not be able to do that either. I usually go towards the stickers because, you know, I'm not very creative that way. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sarah and Microsoft, for sending me this one as well. The next one is green. Thank goodness we don't have a green screen up right now, or this probably wouldn't show up. Now, this says, Miss Alexis, thank you, and this is a book of wonders. Now, the inside is red, so it's a little bit better to show up. It's a little bit hard for me to read just because it's red writing on red paper, but it's really cool, and it has a Microsoft symbol here, and it's actually cut out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like a picture book almost, like the children's picture books. And you flip the page. Oh, it's a lot of writing here. So you are such a kind, loving, exciting person, thank you guys, to be around. You got all of the greatest interviews in history. And then it has a lot more over here. I love having such a good camera girl like you. I love having such a kind person like you. Thank you guys. You really made my day. I don't think they really understand or get how grateful I am for this. This is the first time I've ever received something like this.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And you know, congratulations to everything that you've done, and, you know, moving on from OCTV and actually getting inside the classrooms and seeing the other side of that.
It's amazing what you've learned about, and what I've learned about all the other things that go on in school besides the classes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, behind the scenes, even the board office, you actually kind of get a look at what they do on a daily basis, like the principals, for instance, Mr. Wolf and all of the rest. And of course, we cannot forget about the superintendent, Tim Throne. I'm positive he works day and night.
But the things like the I'm Third group over there, that goes out into the community and helps the underprivileged. And, you know, dealing with security in this unfortunate age we're living in.
Oh, yeah.
With
Especially
all the gun
in schools.
issues and everything, you know, teachers having to take classes with that and so on and so forth. And then you have the groups that are connected with various occupations. You know, the business group and the music people and so on and so forth. It's
10 different things at once.
It blows you away when you get out there and see what there is.
Absolutely. And again, congratulations, seniors, 2019 seniors. You finished a few weeks ago. Congratulations to all of the students who passed through this year, moving on to the next grade. And the students who are going into school next year. It's going to be a great year. Hope you guys have a great summer from both John and I. Hope you enjoyed this 103rd episode of Schooling Around. Until next time, see you guys later.